Hello, Eternum, and welcome to KOTT News, Eternum's #1 source for news. And this is the War Report. Dynamic change in the history of Eternum last night as the forces of Outcast convert the citizens of New Corsica to the way of the Spark. KOTT News were on the scene and spoke with a representative, confidently preparing for the upcoming draft. Congratulations on your rapid victory, my friend. You have some things you'd like to get off your chest about the fight.
No, not necessarily off my chest, John. I just want to say shout out to Outcast because we're here. We own the server. We'll never back down. We'll always own the server. So, with that said, we understand our opponents are a little scared. Brusty didn't show up. We thought he was going to. They gave it up not knowing that he wasn't. So, it's one of those things. We just instill the fear of Brusty in everyone, John. That is who we are.
Well, is there anything else that you might like to say to the citizens of Eternum?
Get ready, because it's football season soon, John. It's football season.
Yeah, that's right.
All I gotta say.
Yeah, you're getting ready for the draft, huh?
Absolutely. Soldiers up, right, John?
Soldiers up indeed. We'll see. I'm looking forward to it. If it happens, it happens. I am standing by to report on it.
Yes, sir. I look forward to the content for sure.
Right on. Hey, push-ups. Gotta get in game shape.
Gotta get in shape for the draft, John.
Yeah. Later in Morningdale, KOTT News caught up with a victorious defender who was excited about the outcome and more. Congratulations on your hold. A full 30 minutes. How do you feel it went out there tonight?
It went pretty smooth. I felt like we got some good practice on both ends, just hanging out and just doing some good old OPRs.
Oh, is that how it felt in there? You were doing an OPR?
Almost felt like it, but it was pretty smooth. Like, it's a good old chill season.
Right on. Well, speaking of season, are you anticipating the first annual Season 1 pre-draft that's expected to come up here on the 16th?
Oh, you already know it. Got my account ready to go. Just chillaxing.
Right on. Well, I'm looking forward to it. We'll see how many people commit to this commitment, as it were. I hate to think about it after I've said it, but I know you guys are ready. You were ready when you named yourselves, right?
Yeah, exactly. We need some content out here in West Coast. We need some fun. Some type of fun for everybody.
Yeah, well, I'm standing by out here, ready to report on all of that action if it happens. Was there anybody who stood out here tonight in your eyes, by the way?
I'm gonna have to say shot caller Jan. That's my boy. Jan is the best shot caller there is. And also Vakuda. Vakuda, he's just holding it down, doing his soldier work out there.
Yeah.
Like always.
KOTT News would like to remind its subscribers and those who are about to be of a special Hatchet Dodgeball competition tonight in Eternum. Be sure to check recruitment chat for more details from the event host, Rippity. It's a beautiful day of sunshine once again, thanks to dutiful last-minute support in First Light last night, but travelers should be wary of an afternoon conflict in Everfall, as well as a 30% chance of invasion later this evening. 3 submissions for Simulated Fantasy Combat Resolution tonight, brought to you by LARPco. Remember, if it isn't LARPco, it is cardboard. In the matinee event, the Covenant forces of Outcast 2 challenged the champs of Water 7 for their heavyweight title and the right to rule over Everfall. Outcast 2 were through their fight pretty quickly 2 nights ago, so clearly this next matchup makes the most sense for them to test the measure of the skills they've acquired. And surely the current reigning heavyweight champs of Water 7 are just as prepared for this encounter, entering the ring fully expecting to begin their Neverfall run. Later, the Zealots of Hideout assail the Syndicate members of Commit for control of the master fishing and shrimping region of Reekwater. After a nearly 10-month hiatus, the forces of Hideout return to establish themselves as a force on the island again, this time in the remote southeastern delta of Reekwater. Commit members may not have much as scouting reports go, but surely this roster is different than the one in the historical archives from August 31st of last year. Meanwhile, the Marauders of Emotional Dom Age attack the Syndicate members of JDB's Kitchen for control of the bear-infested deep forests of Brightwood. Emotional Damage once again stepping up their game, attempting to gain access to the Northern Woods for intensive training in bear wrestling techniques. But the Bright Woods Backwoods Bear Battalion tends to show up when there's a fight to be had, so there won't be any triple declare shenanigans tonight. Be sure to tune in for complete coverage and reactions from the citizens tonight at 11. Until then, this has been War Correspondent JChalant, KOTT News. Hello, Eternum, and welcome to KOTT News, Eternum's #1 source for news. And this is the War Report. Dynamic change in the history of Eternum yesterday afternoon as the forces of OPR Esports become the new heavyweight champions of Eternum by way of no contest. OPR Esports got right to work training to defend their title, issuing only the public statement about their rebranding. The matinee bout was the perfect appetizer for an early evening of dodgeball down in First Light as portable dodgeball courts were hastily erected. The action was hot and heavy as citizens of all skill levels participated on 2 courts simultaneously in order to determine the dodgeball champions. Special thanks to Rippity for hosting the event and to all the participants who showed up and played with the intent to enjoy yourselves. The Syndicate hold both lines on defense last night, but it was a bit closer in Reekwater, where KOTT News spoke to one of the participants after the fight. Congratulations on your victory here in Reekwater, holding them out, but not entirely out of the fort. Would you care to take us through the final 15 minutes as they were breaching?
It's pretty exciting, John. We had to really hunker down, build up all the gates. They did a really good job of rotating all over the fort. Really did a good job of playing their respawns, but we were on it, doing our own rotates and keeping up, and we were able to keep them down.
Excellent job out there again. Was there anybody who stood out in their performance for you guys tonight?
Yeah, shout out to Group 10. My bow boys always coming through. Shout out to Zara Healer. She follows us to hell and back and keeps us alive. So it's always a good time.
Commit has been in charge of Reekwater for some time now. Do you have any plans for the hamlet or for the region surrounding it?
I mean, we try to keep it looking nice and snazzy 100% of the time.
Returning to our ongoing coverage of the Season 1 event, and even though I'm still doing bingos for grins, the journey is only lacking a few more milestones as well. Looking at the weather for today, and after the sun gets up and does its thing, be mindful of a 20% chance of corruption invasion later this evening. No submissions for Simulated Fantasy Combat Resolution tonight, brought to you by Peace, but we'll have any late-breaking outcomes and reactions from the citizens tonight at 11. Until then, this has been War Correspondent JChalant, KOTT News. Hello, Eternum, and welcome to KOTT News, Eternum's #1 source for news. And this is the War Report. No change in the dynamic of Eternum last night, as you might expect after an evening of peace. KOTT News teams took advantage of the downtime to experiment with various streaming solutions. KOTT1 was able to run the game while streaming and recording in the middle of an invasion. If you want to stay on top of the Pilot Week stress testing for streams, be sure to follow on Twitch, link in the description. Quickly to the weather for today, and the short cast for this afternoon calls for another afternoon of sunshine, keeping corruption at bay. But be on the lookout for another evening of hurricanes flowing to the southwest, stirring up another 30% chance of corruption invasion later tonight. 2 more submissions for Simulated Fantasy Combat Resolution tonight, brought to you by LARPco. Remember, if it isn't LARPco, it's cardboard. Up first, the Syndicate members of Maybe It Is Time attack the Covenant converts of OPR Esports for control of the bamboo forest preserves of Ebonscale Reach. Depending on your perspective, you might wonder what it may be time for, but all we can report for sure is that there will definitely be an attack. Maybe. OPR Esports make their first defense under new management and new mission statement. But has their esports organization been training enough for this? Then, the Syndicate members of Commit assault the Covenant PVXers of Tropical House for control of the primary oil reserves of Weaver's Fen. Commit once again attempting to control the entire marshland areas of the island. Take the southern trail through the Fen to set up at the assault camp. Tropical House are in the middle of their Black Sand campaign, extracting as much oil as they can without regard to the environmental impact. We'll have any late-breaking outcomes and reactions from the citizens tonight at 11. Until then, this has been War Correspondent JChalant, KOTT News. Hello, Eternum, and welcome to KOTT News, Eternum's #1 source for news. And this is the War Report. Dynamic change in the history of Eternum last night as the syndicate members of Commit conquer the primary oil reserves of Weaver's Fen. And the syndicate members of P is for Pressure secure the medicinal hot springs and resort destination of Ebon Scale. KOTT News crews caught up with company leadership who shared a few words about the second period victory. Congratulations on your victory here in Ebon Scale, once again retaining control of the medicinal hot springs and resort destination. How does it feel to be in charge?
You know, John, we're better. We do what we gotta do. This is OPR Esports out here.
Well, it was over in about, what, 12 minutes? Not a bad fight. I guess OPR Esports needs to work on their defensive skills a little bit. But now that you've taken over Ebon Scale, what are your intentions from here on?
I think we're just gonna keep doing what we do best and take everything and win everything, I guess.
Was there anybody who had the opportunity to stand out tonight, or was it over too quickly?
I would have to say Harborough Sour. He definitely took over today. He was outstanding performer, and he was showing us how to do what we take space and just, Harborough Sour, #1 man of the day.
Later in Weaver's Fen, KOTT News caught up with the weary victors on the steps of City Hall. Well, the fight here in Weaver's Fen was over quite quickly. Over in the second period, would you care to take us through any highlights that you might have seen out there in the Fen?
I just wanted to highlight everybody that was aggressive today. The whole army played very aggressive and played confident, and that was just amazing to see.
So now, completely control of the swamp and marshlands of the eastern regions of the Central Corridor. Will you be excising a toll on travel from the east to the Central Corridor?
Honestly, we will let people travel free through our swamps, just as long as they bring us gatorheads. They've been a menace lately, so if they bring us gatorheads, we'll let them travel through our swamp as much as they want.
Was there anybody who stood out in their performance tonight?
I do want to give a shout out to Q Apple for, waking up and making it to war. He made it, just before pool.
KOTT News crews aired another pilot episode stream on Twitch last night as a precursor to the evening's news coverage. Citizens interested in guiding the direction of the broadcast should check out the short vlogs and leave feedback in the comments. During the evening, KOTT News volunteered in defense of Brightwood against the forces of the corrupted. Once again, standing our ground against the eternal enemy of the night. The Invasion Response Squad defends another night while you sleep. Turning to the weather for today, and once more the sun will rise and shine, making for a lovely afternoon of peace and prosperity. Then the coastal hurricanes will continue to strike the eastern shore, causing another 30% chance of corruption invasion again tonight. Another submission for Simulated Fantasy Combat Resolution tonight, brought to you by LARPco. Remember, if it isn't LARPco, it's cardboard. Tonight, the syndicate members of P is for Pressure attack the Covenant converts of Outcast for control of the arid desert region of Brimstone Sands. P is for Pressure. That's good enough for me. Perhaps under pressure of physical and mental strain. Either way, you'll have to deal with pressure! But will the pressure put on Outcast be enough to make a difference in the deserts to the northwest, as the Outcast forces huddle themselves in the fort and prepare for the intense pressure that's about to take place? Be sure to tune in for complete coverage and reactions from the citizens tonight at 11. Until then, this has been War Correspondent JChalant, KOTT News. Hello, Eternum, and welcome to KOTT News, Eternum's #1 source for news. And this is the War Report. No change in the dynamic of Eternum last night, as the Covenant converts of Outcast keep control in the arid desert region of Brimstone Sands. KOTT News were on the scene after the fight and observed the payouts, after which we were granted a brief word from leadership about the battle. Congratulations on your holdup here in Brimstone Sands. I know you had a single point on the exterior, but it was a solid fight for most of the fight. Would you care to take us through how aggressive they were tonight?
Yeah, Johnny boy, to be honest, I didn't really pay too much attention to the war. I was just happy to have Panda back. We have Panda back, we won. No Panda, we lose. A coincidence? I think not, because it's true. No Panda, we lose. With Panda, we win. It's that easy. We don't need a strat, nothing else. Panda there, people sign up, they show up, we win. No Panda there, we lose. It's that easy.
Has Panda decided to recommit himself to the Outcast company?
I mean, it really wasn't up to Panda, right? He had no choice, right? We told him we would forgive him. We would forgive his debts. We would forgive him, and we welcome him back with open arms. Because really, you have to forgive him. It's not worth being homeless over. You got to put that over the hill.
Was there anybody other than Panda who actually stepped up tonight in his presence?
Yeah, whoever healed Panda. Thanks for healing Panda.
Short-handed in first light, invasion response specialist Jack Raids put together a tight battle plan. KOTT news crews volunteered once more to support the defense efforts against the relentless enemies, making sure to inspire the morale of the limited troops whenever instructed by the commanding officer. KOTT news crews were finally able to broker a peace with the invading druids, who departed last night after catching a whopper during their extended fishing excursion. KOTT News would like to alert its subscribers and those who are about to be of items that are available in the secondary market. Initial reports indicate the introduction of 5 unique fireworks described as emotes lasting for 2 hours. KOTT News will bring you more on these interesting signal flares and celebratory entertainments as the story develops. Turning to the weather for today, and after another successful day of keeping infrastructure fully upgraded for the citizens, volunteers should be ready to heed the call for help when another 30% chance of corruption invasion rises once more. Another submission for Simulated Fantasy Combat Resolution tonight, brought to you by LARPco. Remember, if it isn't LARPco, it's cardboard. Tonight, the Marauders of Nice Deck assailed the syndicate members of Commit for control of the master fishing and shrimping region of Reekwater. The newcomers of Nice Deck march into the marshlands of Reekwater and set up their assault camp amongst the goats of the region, butting heads in preparation of tonight's conflict. The members of Commit had been allowing free passage to anyone interested in visiting the hamlet for tourism, but this regional aggression will not be tolerated. We'll have any late-breaking outcomes and reactions from the citizens tonight at 11. Until then, this has been War Correspondent JChalant, KOTT News. Hello, Eternum, and welcome to KOTT News, Eternum's #1 source for news. And this is the War Report. No change in the dynamic of Eternum last night as the forces of Commit managed to hold on to the master fishing port town of Reekwater. KOTT news crews were on the scene and spoke with company leadership about the close fight. Congratulations on your victory here in Reekwater, a fort phase that included 2 really strong pushes on the flag. Would you care to take us through some of those exciting moments?
Oh, sure. You know, they came out of B-Gate strong and kind of had the 50-50 off the rip pretty strong. And, you know, with those emplacements in Reekwater, we've talked about it before, it's kind of difficult to get those respawn re-rotates around bonfire with those emplacements. So, you know, we had a little bit of trouble with getting our respawns coming in at the appropriate angles, and we let them get a little bit of control of our road, which was obviously evident on C Point as well. So they had very good control of our road, and eventually came into a longer fort phase. I think we definitely held the fort down. Had a little bit of a heavy tick at one point there, and our point teams were holding it down pretty well. And Spamage being the shot caller he is, you know, sometimes he's to get a little more aggressive, and sometimes that's exactly what the army needs. And I think I speak for everybody, what we enjoy when Spamage gets a little aggressive with us anyways. So
I see that tomorrow night it looks like you're going to be attempting to squeeze out the heavyweight champ. Would you care to give us any insight to your ambitions there?
You know, I think we speak for everybody again when we say we've been feeling like we've been making a lot of leaps and bounds as far as improvement as a company and as an army. So having the opportunity to reach out and attempt to take one of the major territories, everybody's really excited about it, and we're looking forward to going up against some of the better players in the server tomorrow night.
Excellent. I do know that in those final moments of the fight, you guys were able to put up B and C gate, or A gate, excuse me, and funnel them all through Charlie so you could hold them there. Is there anybody else who you might like to shout out in their efforts tonight?
Oh, we're not going to give out the name of our Bob the Builder, because anytime you dox Bob the Builder gets focused. So shout out to Bob the Builder being the best damn gate repairman we've got.
You got it. We'll keep that close to the vest. The designated builder of the evening did a great job, we'll say.
That's right.
All right, my friend. Well, is there any place people can look out for you tonight on Twitch or YouTube?
Yep, I am streaming on Twitch tonight at twitch.tv/Spitfire_9. Also, shout out to my point healer for the night, Vemapris. She also streams on Twitch, twitch.tv/Vemapris.
KOTT News would like to alert its subscribers and those about to be of some upcoming events this week. Tonight there will be a 5v5 duel hosted by Rippity. Be sure to check recruitment chat for more details. KOTT News crews will be taking a special night down at the ballpark tomorrow, but should be back near the end of the late fight. Perfect game notwithstanding. Last night's corruption forces sent an unexpected fourth flank out, resulting in a shortfall of defensive efforts. The hamlet of Corinth was hit especially hard in refining and crafting services. Citizens wishing to help repair the infrastructure of Corinth should volunteer for assigned tasks at the mission boards in front of Town Hall. No task is too small to help out. And even though today is going to be filled with some extra upkeep, the weather should be pleasant all afternoon whilst doing so. But once more, the relentless night will bring with it another 20% chance of invasion scattered across the island. 2 roster submissions for Simulated Fantasy Combat Resolution tonight, brought to you by LARPCO. Remember, if it isn't LARPCO, it's cardboard. Up first, the syndicate members of Commit challenge the champs of OPR Esports for their heavyweight title and the right to rule over Everfall. After training in the bogs and swamps of the island, the syndicate attempt to squeeze out the current reigning heavyweight champions of Eternum from the central corridor. OPR Esports begin their Neverfall journey tonight against a foe that has been preparing for a title run themselves. So if they're serious about their esports endeavor, tonight's the night. Later, the Covenant converts of Outcasts assail the Marauders of Gorilla Town for control of the nearly uncontrollable Restless Shore. Once more, Outcast forces set up at the bottom of the mud hill and begin their trek up the slippery slope towards the summit, where only one company may stand atop. Currently, at the top of the mud hill stands Gorilla Town, not quite so isolated from their regional holdings to the southwest, finding joy in the muddy conflict in the east. Be sure to tune in for complete coverage and reactions from the citizens tonight at 11. Until then, this has been War Correspondent JChalant, KOTT News. Hello, Eternum, and welcome to KOTT News, Eternum's #1 source for news. And this is the War Report. Dynamic change in the history of Eternum last night as the forces of Kabit become heavyweight champions of Eternum by way of first-round knockout. And the Covenant hero worshippers of Outcast climb the mud hill and become kings of Restless Shore. KOTT News crews caught up with the Covenant leaders on the steps of City Hall and spoke about the outcome. Congratulations to the forces of Outcast for winning their victory here in Restless Shore, reigning as the current kings of the mud hill. How's it feel out there tonight?
Yeah, it was a really good war. We were really happy about it. We were able to get into the fort. We had an initial struggle, but with some really good shot calling and last-minute decisions, we were able to get some really clean wipes, and we were able to just keep the pressure and eventually just take point.
Was there anybody out there who stood out for you tonight?
Yes, absolutely. Of course, we always have to point at Panda, always Panda, never not Panda. But I would also like to say Captain Rogers did an amazing job with his shot calling. Absolutely phenomenal. Very impressed.
Resounding success here tonight. Are you looking forward to your 2 fights tomorrow?
Absolutely. Outcast is going to be 100% busy, and we're just going to go out there and we're going to have fun like we always do, John.
Well, sir, is there anything else you might like to add before my intern and I get out of here?
Stay safe, and I think you need 3 more body doubles, John. Body triples.
Earlier in Everfall, KOTT News were on the scene and got a word from the new heavyweight champs. Congratulations on your victory here in Everfall, becoming the new heavyweight champions of Eternum over in the first round. Would you care to take us through how you got it down so fast?
Hell yeah, baby. Alright, so off the rip, you already know, I'm hyping my boys up. And my ladies. I'm telling them, hey, yo, Pop a Cleanse, get active. Haste Pop, get active. You know, the usual. And these guys, I swear that... I don't know how to describe them, man. They're just insane. I love these guys. Listen to every single call, any call I make, like that. Here we are, so quick. Alright, so off the rip, though. Off the rip, we hasten out. We clash on the MLB, We win a clone fight. We get some pressure. We get some point tick. What do? I cooked up with this raid plan. I cooked up. So, what we do is we split. I split half of the army to C. Get get control of that, cap it real quick, you know. But I'm here chilling. I'm sitting on my rock, you know, as the shot caller does, chilling on my rock, watching the war. We're losing B, but we're capping C, we're capping A, and then we cap both, and then next thing you know, we cap B, and it's a done deal. It's a done deal from there, you know. We just win the 50v50, easy peasy. We have like pretty much 40 people, 40 soldiers in their road, and of course my point squad's ticking. That's how I like to do it. And then after that, get the gates down, get the horns down, we split, and then we're just getting active from there. Push in. I think our first push was kind of scuffed, but once we got settled, GG's.
Well, was there anybody out there who stood out in their performance, limited though the time was for you?
I think it was Bo. Bo was going crazy at the A gate, even though they were getting farmed A gate for a couple seconds. You know, Bo had like good comms and let me know they're coming through. Bo.
Last night's 5-on-5 competition hosted by Rippity was well received. Be on the lookout for Naked Sword and Board tomorrow night. KOTT News would like to alert its subscribers to a special event tonight that may prevent on-the-scene reporting, but KOTT News crew should be available later for anybody prepared to give a statement. Looking at the weather for tonight, and it's looking like the sun will journey across the Eternum sky once more before the corruption invasion forces will strike in the confusion of war across 30% of the island, so look for opportunities to help defend. 4 submissions for simulated fantasy combat resolution tonight, brought to you by LARPco. Remember, if it isn't LARPco, it's cardboard. First up, the Covenant converts of Outcast attack the Syndicate members of C is for Cleanse for control of the bamboo forest preserves of Ebonscale Reach. Outcast forces in the first of 2 simultaneous fights must decide how to divvy up their forces. Fortunately, they battle on both sides and needn't worry about lockouts of last-minute scheduling conflicts. C is for Cleanse have only the one fight to focus on themselves, but if they get forced back into the fort, they've prepared themselves for an extended siege attempt. Then, the Marauders of Emotional Damage assault the vault of JDB's kitchen for control of the island's financial capital of Windsward. Emotional Damage taking on 2 titans simultaneously either have high ambitions or high-minded strategy, but maybe there's a third option we haven't uncovered as yet. JDB's Kitchen have shown a propensity to hold the Central Corridor region regardless of who challenges them for it, unless preoccupied elsewhere, which should not be the case tonight. Meanwhile, the Marauders of Emotional Damage attack the Covenant converts of Outcast for control of the arid desert region of Brimstone Sands. In their second matchup of the evening, the CEOs of Beijing Corn throw their forces into conflict with another group who may be involved elsewhere. Outcast forces have made it clear that they intend to regrow their flock, and with the help of their legendary hero, they may be able to do just that. Also, the Zealots of Hideout assail the Syndicate members of Commit for control of the island's primary oil reserves of Weaver's Fen. Hideout forces are tired of the Syndicate controlling movement of goods through the Eastern Corridor, so they've set up an assault camp to cleanse the Fen. But Commit are not without their own ambitions, and without any distractions, will have a full roster available to defend this strategic thoroughfare. Be sure to tune in for complete coverage and reactions from the citizens tonight at 11. Until then, this has been War Correspondent JChalant, KOTT News.